I'm Dr. Jordin Wiggins, and this is the Pleasure Principles podcast. Join me on this journey where sex, science, and sensuality meet. Let's change the conversation around sex and pleasure together. Hello, I'm so excited to have this conversation today. Mental health, more specifically, women's mental health, is a part of the reason why I do what I do. It's why I wrote my book, The Pink Canary. It's why I own and operate Health Overall, a women's health clinic, because I really feel like we're missing the mark here. I really feel like healthcare is failing women when it comes to feeling exhausted, burnt out, depressed, joyless. We don't know where to turn for answers, and sliding an antidepressant prescription across the table after you talk to your doctor is really not cutting it. It's not fixing the totality of the problem, because it's a lot more complicated than that. And I want to unpack that today. So let's get to it. There is a problem that I'm seeing with women's health today. It's something that we feel so much shame about, something that we rarely talk about. And if we try, we often don't have the words. It's something that's not treated properly. And I truly, truly believe, because I have been there myself, that healthcare is failing women, especially when it comes to mental health. Women are twice as likely than men to be diagnosed with depression. Let's think about that. Are we 2 times more likely to be depressed? Like, are we doubly as depressed, or what's going on there? But that's quite an alarming statistic. We're going to talk about that today. There was a pattern that I was seeing after treating thousands of women at Health Overall. And I would see women get diagnosed with depression after a life event, after loss of a loved one, after having a child, after an autoimmune diagnosis like Hashimoto's, which you're given Synthroid, a thyroid hormone, but we're ignoring the fact that it is the immune system creating this problem to begin with. So when it doesn't treat all of our symptoms and we don't feel better, we feel exhausted, no motivation, maybe issues with sleep, maybe some weight gain. We are also given an antidepressant because it looks like depression or burnout, where we're doing too much for too many people for too long without a support system that is doing for us. So this is a big issue. It is a lot to unpack. And I maintain that physicians, doctors are well-meaning people. They're doing the best they can with what they've been taught, and in a system that is not set up to function optimally for women. So this is not a hate on your doctors. We need doctors. I love doctors, physicians, surgeons, doctors of all kinds are amazing. We need to learn to work together, and we need to learn to shift, improve, evolve a system that is too rigid, too old school for working with women with hormonal fluctuations throughout their lifetime, and definitely way out of date with what we know today about women's health. So I just want to continue to frame this with a few more statistics. Loneliness is as harmful as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. I saw a huge increase in loneliness with the pandemic. And check in quick with yourself. Are you lonely? Let's be really, really honest. Do you feel seen, known, like you can be your full self, like you can share your authentic truth, ask for whatever you want from your loved ones and know that they will be there for you, because you're probably dealing with a little loneliness, if not. Antidepressant prescriptions. 1 in 4 women are on an antidepressant prescription, and this number will soon increase to 1 in 2. And of the women that are not medicated on antidepressants, millions report untreated anxiety, depression, and fatigue that plagues them and affects their day-to-day lives. 60% of women are stressed enough to experience sleep deprivation, which is the number 1 cause of chronic illness. So why is this? Why the overwhelming rate of antidepressant prescriptions in women? Why the loneliness? Why the fatigue? Why can't we sleep? What is going on? Are we 2 times more depressed? Or are we missing something? It is my opinion that we are missing something, and this is a problem that is twofold. Number 1, it's a failure to meet the needs of women with our healthcare system, a failure to adequately assess and diagnose and treat women's health needs today. Not what our needs were 50 years ago or 100 years ago, but today for the women that we are working, dealing with the level of stress that we deal with at home and outside the home, our needs have changed and healthcare has just not caught up. And the second problem is our mindset, how we were raised, our good girl conditioning. If you have not heard me speak about this before, I would love for you to check out episode 14 of my podcast on good girl conditioning. You're going to get a ton more info there. So it is not only the way we think, which shapes the way we act, but it's also what is going on the cellular level. So I believe the biggest problem facing women's health today is anhedonia, which is literally the opposite of pleasure. Most of you are experiencing anhedonia, but you do not have the words. You'll say things like, I don't feel like myself. I don't feel like doing anything. Nothing makes me happy anymore, or I'm just not as happy as I used to be. Also, there's an element of, if I stop, if I slow down, I might break. Or if one more thing gets added to my to-do list, I might break. So if something comes up during your day and it feels like the world is ending, to have that extra to do, I'm talking about you. So technically, medically speaking, anhedonia is the inability to feel pleasure or joy. It's a diagnostic criteria of major depressive disorder. It was my biggest symptom when I was struggling with my mental health. And I think a lot of women that are experiencing anhedonia are actually getting diagnosed with depression. And I believe that we can be anhedonic, like not experience joy and pleasure, and not actually fully be depressed. Like the root is the anhedonia. And this is why I think we need a more holistic approach. It's why I wrote my book, The Pink Canary, which talks about this stuff that we are talking about today in detail. It is my wish for the health of women that the things we're going to talk about today and the things that I wrote about in The Pink Canary was standard. It was our standard way of operating for women's health. It's my wish for, me, my daughter, my mother, my sister, all women. We test cholesterol as a standard. We've done this for years, even for women at ages that a cardiovascular event is very, very unlikely, but we won't test their hormones. We won't test their nutrient status. We won't test things that make it likely for them to wake up with energy, feel joy, feel like themselves. So there's a little something going on here. So something off. My 5 tips for improving your mental health, and I want to deal with the health aspect here today because this is a big issue to unpack. But of the 2 issues that I think we're missing, I want to focus on the health today, and that's what to do to improve your mental health. So we're going to talk about 5 things. First and foremost, we need to look at nutrient deficiencies. So if we are deficient in B vitamins, vitamin D, these nutrients are building blocks for cellular processes. And it would be like expecting your car to run without oil in it. Eventually, the engine will seize and the car will break down. This is logical. When it comes to assessing and treating women's health, we start here at Health Overall. We start here with our 3-month and 1-year programs when we're working with women to unpack all these things, because if we do not have the building blocks for optimal health, how do we expect to heal or fix anything downstream? It just like fundamentally does not make sense. So if you are nutrient deficient, meaning you're not eating enough of the correct nutrients, or you're not absorbing them, or your cells or are not using them, we have an issue. And we can test in those 3 areas and see where the breakdown is. But I always recommend that we start there. The second thing, if you are struggling with mental health, we need to investigate your inflammation. If we are inflamed, it can lead to immune suppression, hormone imbalances, pain. We are slow to heal. Just everything's off when we're inflamed, and it can be a big contributing factor. I rarely treat a woman struggling with anhedonia or depression or burnout that is not also inflamed. So if you are inflamed, we need to figure out, where is the source of inflammation coming from? Is it foods you are eating that are creating inflammation in your body? Is it chronic viruses or bacteria, things that you have not cleared? You might appear healthy. You might even say to me, well, I never get sick. My immune system's great. But when we test, you actually do have a few low-grade infections, like the mono you had in high school, or pneumonia, or when you were really sick as a kid. Anyways, we could go on forever on inflammation because it is so pivotal to overall health. But testing to see if you are inflamed is also, to me, it's one of the main starting points, because if we are inflamed, everything else is so slow to heal, and we can't do it. It's like we're pushing rocks uphill and we're not seeing the benefit as quickly as we could be when we're inflamed. The third thing that I think we should have as a standard of care for women's health is hormonal testing. Hormones are something that need to be in balance with each other. Estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. These things need to be in balance, and they also change throughout our menstrual cycle, and they change throughout different life stages. Ask a perimenopausal woman whose hormones are in flux for a time, and don't worry, we can support you. It doesn't have to be all bad, but you might miss periods or get a period 2 weeks apart. But when hormones are in flux, does it play with our mental health? Another example could be PMS, who is way more sensitive, has absolutely no libido. It is like, get away from me. Breasts are tender during PMS, like the week before your period. And if these are extreme symptoms, then we need to investigate it. We need to fix it, because there is most likely a hormonal imbalance. For me, I went on birth control for the first time. And then I started to get all of these symptoms of depression. And that's because the birth control worsened a hormonal imbalance that I already had. And the doctor's solution was, oh, well, just take an antidepressant. And I was saying, but like, this isn't me. I lack joy. I'm not happy. I'm sad. I'm not motivated, but like, this isn't me. It doesn't feel like depression. It feels like something else is going on. And it was definitely a hormone imbalance. So this is why I think that making sure to check hormones on a regular basis for women is very, very important. Now, the next two tips, we know this logically with our brains, but we have trouble actually executing. So tip number 4 is sleep. Now, when we have adrenal dysfunction, hormone imbalances, we cannot manage our stress, ask for help, communicate our needs. Sleep tends to become a problem. And when we cannot sleep, we cannot heal. How many of you wake during the night between 1 to 3, 2 to 4 a.m.? If you are not sleeping soundly or pretty soundly for a 6 to 8 hour period at night, chances are we have some adrenal dysfunction going on. And I cannot stress enough, if we don't sleep, we don't heal. This is when we do a lot of our cellular repair, and then we're exhausted. So what do we do the next day? We are reaching for caffeine. We are reaching for sugar, things to keep us going, because we have so much to do and so much to get done, which by making those decisions is going to worsen our sleep cycle at night and disrupt our cortisol even further. So it's just one of those vicious cycles. Like, we got to keep going. We have to do one foot in front of the other. So we just do what needs to be done, but we're never actually healing. And sleep, getting adequate, restful sleep, is one of the great things we can do for our health. The 5th tip is exercise. And this is not what you might think. Generally, I'm working with super women. They over exercise, especially when we have adrenal cortisol dysfunction, hormone imbalance. So oftentimes I'm telling women to exercise less, to do more restorative exercises like yoga, less boot camps, less HIIT. And they look at me like I have 10 heads when I tell them that they will actually lose more weight when they exercise less. Obviously, these are individualized recommendations, and we would need to do testing and have me take your whole case history to make sure that that applies to you. But if you are working out 5 days a week and still having trouble losing weight, your issue is one of the things, or a few of the things that I just mentioned. It's not that you need to exercise more and eat less. If you've tried that and that is not working for you, there is something else going on there. And myself and my team would be happy to help you fix it. Now, I want to give you a bonus tip, because like I mentioned, we have the addressing the healthcare on the cellular level, but we also have to address our beliefs, our mindset, because we have to change our beliefs in order to change our behavior. If you are listening to this podcast, you are brilliant. I know this. I attract brilliant women. But you're probably stuck. You're stuck on what you've been taught, which is to work hard, to overgive, to keep other people happy or they will leave you. these patterns of giving, always being the caretaker, not feeling happy, feeling anhedonic, lacking joy, feeling burnt out, exhausted, these patterns, these ways of thinking, this is what is also contributing to ruining your health and happiness. We know that you need to eat more greens, cut out the sugar, the wine, but can you? Are you reaching for the caffeine because you didn't sleep and you're caught in this vicious loop? So I want to leave you with a few things to think about. When was the last time you felt free to be yourself? To laugh, to run, to feel joy, to relax, to do nothing? When has it felt safe to be healthy, to be turned on? When was the last time you felt good in your body? The way it looked, the way it moved, the way everything felt? Because here's the thing, at some point, we all got the message to be good girls, to be super women, to achieve, to get the degree, to get the job, to do. We got the message to not take up too much space, to worry about everyone else's emotions, to stay quiet. We don't know how to ask for what we want, what we need. We don't know how to truly be ourselves. We don't have a supportive circle of women around us. So that is affecting your health just as much as not getting the right testing, interpretation, and having the same team of doctors. Community and sisterhood is just as much a part of the medicine as getting proper testing. I promise you this. And I want you to know that I would love to help you bring pleasure, joy, energy back to your life, relationships, health, career, definitely the bedroom. So if you would like to work with me and my team on the health side of things, email us, let us know, and we will figure out how we can help, if that is working with me and my team, or if that is us referring you. Email info@healthoverall.ca. And Sarah will be happy to get back to you and let you know what next steps are. Set up a call to figure out how we can help. Is it the health stuff that you really need? Is it the mindset stuff? Let's figure that out together, myself and my team, or here. We are happy to help. We want to get you the right testing, and we want you to help you work on the mindset stuff, which is keeping you just as small, just as exhausted, just as burnt out, just as crusty as not getting the right lab tests. And I want you to know it's both. And if you've read my book, The Pink Canary, you've seen that model, how one fits into the other, and we just have this cycle. So when we have the momentum of amazing health, it gives us the energy to have pleasure in our lives, and vice versa. So if you feel like you are lacking on either side, the health side or the mindset side, please reach out. We're happy to help you. We have so many exciting things coming up this next year, and happy to help. The rest of this year, we have so many amazing discounts before our prices are going up in January. So we are here. Reach out, email Sarah, info@healthoverall.ca. She'll be happy to set up a call and tell you what your right next steps are. Take care. Have a great week, everybody. If you like what you heard in this episode, leave me a rating. Your support helps me get discovered by more women like you. Together, we can change the conversation around women's sexual health and pleasure for you, your partners, and generations to come.